to see you all. I know some faces, and I'm getting to meet some other new people, and it's really nice to be here again. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I was wondering where the corned beef and cabbage was.
You didn't have any other room?
I didn't have any yet, no. And I did steal that joke. That was his joke. But I told him I was going to use it. He said, okay. So I am pretty low-key, pretty easygoing. I just want to make sure that you guys ask questions, learn. And I did prepare a presentation, which we can go over as well, but it's just tools to help stay healthy and different things. But I really want to make sure that if you guys have any questions or if you want to talk about anything specific, that you let me know, because I'm more than happy to give it a go. I do have some bookmarks I want to kind of hand out, and it goes over the presentation. Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Let me keep one just so I know what I'm going over, I guess. I also have an AED. Like I said, I never go anywhere without at least 3 bags, so I brought a few today. So I have an AED, if anybody wants to go over that, or how to use it, or what it is, or why we even have them around. And then I have my friends. I haven't named it yet, but it does follow me pretty much everywhere. It's very helpful to explain kind of what's going on, and it's the size of my heart. No, I'm kidding. It's 4 times the size of a normal heart, but it helps at least. So we.
I was about the size of mine when they took it out.
Yeah.
You're the one that had the really huge one.
So do you have any questions starting off, or you just want me to go and you ask as we proceed through? Yes, all of the above. Okay. Sounds good to me. Stop me anytime. Yell out, let me know. This presentation is actually kind of adapted from the American Heart Association. I love their simple 7 steps. I keep standing in front of there. You guys are probably like, what? So they call them 7 simple steps for a healthy life. Now, we all know that when we go through these, you'll realize what I'm saying. But some of them are not so simple, and it does take time and it takes dedication. But I'll hopefully help give you some tools, and hopefully you can use it for your own lives as well as your loved ones and other family members, friends. So, did everybody get a bookmark? On there is kind of the simple 7 steps again, but a lot of times people don't realize it, or they try to do everything all at once, and it's really hard to do the New Year's resolutions all at once. So it's important to pick one thing, and it could be, lower your salt intake, but do that for a while and then add others. So how many times in your life have you stopped and thought, I need to do better, I need to watch my diet, I need to get more physical activity, I need to lower my salt intake, I need to watch my blood pressure, on and on. Well, that's what we'll go over, and hopefully I'll be able to help you here. So, this is kind of a guide. I switched it, so I thought they all come. Oh, yeah. Hang on 1 second. Can you guys all see that?
More or less.
More or less. I'll just have to go over it all when So, this is kind of a guideline to guarantee a longer life, to help prevent heart disease. And I know you're saying, well, I've had a heart transplant. What do I need to worry about this for? But it's very important still with the heart transplant, with the rest of your body, with your vessels, with your arteries, everything. You always want to watch what you're eating and do better, do more physical activity. To feel stronger, healthier, and then also a better quality of life. More energy to do the things you love and to be with the people you love. So, live better, embrace health with Life Simple 7. So mission, of course, of building healthier lives free from cardiovascular disease and stroke. I'm going to give you a statistic. So within the last 10 years, we have been able to drop the 40% deaths from heart disease and stroke. I'm sorry, hang on, let me see if I'm reading this right. So the amount of deaths from heart disease has dropped 40% within the last 10 years, which is remarkable. And that's only with about 34% of people knowing about heart disease. And women are, you know, it's been a man's disease for a long time. And so the big push now is Go Red for Women and making women aware of heart disease and showing them that, yes, you can have this as well. And it is, you know, important for you to take care of yourself to live a healthier life. So, of course, the goal always to improve cardiovascular health and reduce risk. This is Clyde Yancey. He's a doctor, and he was kind of one of the ones who developed this with the American Heart Association. So for a long, long time, you guys have been told, excuse me, no donuts, no red meat, no salt, you know, more and more and more. And it's hard. I mean, it frustrates anybody to be like, I really don't, I mean, there's so much I can't have, I'm just not going to worry about it, and I'm just going to be happy and eat what I want. Well, I'll show you some tools and some different things to do to kind of help with that. And again, holler, speak up, yell if you do anything, if you use any tools, or if you have any ways to get around, you know, those family functions where somebody brought the bacon. We were talking about bacon earlier. But we want to teach how to exist, how not just to exist living, but to actually live and have a fulfilled life. I'm going to skip that. So blood pressure. Who knows? Who's heard of high blood pressure? Hypertension is the big fancy word that we use. Why is it important to manage your blood pressure? Well, so blood pressure is a measurement of how much pressure is on the heart, is on the vessels when the heart pushes out blood from the heart. The top number, your systolic number, usually the higher number, is how much blood goes into the system, if that helps kind of think that. And then the bottom number is the diastolic, which is at rest. So when the heart is done with the lub dub, the diastolic is kind of the relaxing. So you still have pressure on your vessels after, you know, when your heart's at rest, which is why we look at the bottom number as well. So it's important to keep those numbers in track, because the more pressure that you have on your vessels, the harder they have to work, the more over time, you know, they're not going to be as pliable, they're not going to be as bendable, the blood's not going to go completely, you know, through them, because they get harder. And that's why it's important to keep your blood pressure down. Take your medicines, lower salt intake, and then of course we'll go over some other things. Always physical activity. They kind of all go hand in hand, which you're going to hear me say them over and over. So, yes, ma'am.
We were out to dinner last night, and I didn't do a walking, so I told my husband, don't listen to the rest of the part, but I was going to walk over to the ice complex instead of driving. After I eat and I try to walk, I don't even think I want to walk. I'm short of breath. Is there a correlation between digesting with our new hearts and walking?
So you just got done eating. So the question was, they were out to eat, and she was going to walk across the street to go to another place, and she got short of breath. So she's wondering if there's any correlation with the new hearts and shortness of breath after eating.
Right, like now if I wanted to walk around the block, I'd be short of breath.
So when you eat, after you eat, all your blood goes to your stomach, and it goes in, because that's where it's working to digest your food. The only thing, I mean, I'm sure there's probably, you know, do you do physical activity at all?
No, but I've been walking a little bit, and I'm not short of breath. This just happened after I ate.
And it happens all the time?
I don't usually walk after I eat, but I decided to walk.
Yeah. It
I
could
was
have
wondering
been,
if there was a correlation.
it could have been a few different things. It depends on the salt intake. It depends on what you ate, how much you ate. If your blood's really trying to work hard to digest, and then you're also exerting yourself trying to work.
So it's not necessarily a correlation.
There might be a little bit of a correlation, but it's not anything that, unless you would get chest pain or the shortness of breath wouldn't go away, then it would be something you need to get checked out. If it happens again and you notice it and it's getting worse, then
Well,
definitely
because
get
I
checked
know
out.
before my transplant, if we went out to eat, I couldn't walk and talk after I ate going to the car.
Right after it.
Yeah, right after I eat.
It could just be decompensation. You know, you were sick for a long time and your body has to get used to that again. So you may have, you know, with the new heart and everything, it didn't really help the lungs, you know, because you need to kind of get those working again and get them, you know, physical activity and get them going again. Did you guys have any questions with that either? Great question, great question. Okay, let's see.
Wouldn't that be more of a...
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't that be more, not so much the food, would that probably be more of the beverages that she might have drank?
Just get water.
I mean, even with not so much alcohol beverages, even the water itself will be on your lungs. You're pushing that water on, you know, it's got to be pumped along with the food. You got to pump that water and all of that. It's on your lungs, it's in your belly. The blood's down there trying to do all those things, and now you're trying to get up and walk. So
Yeah,
now your
it's a
heart's trying
lot
to
of
pump that
exertion.
water and the blood back and forth, all that kind of stuff.
Right. It all depends on kind of what you all put in your stomach. If you got all the exertion, all the physical activity trying to work with that, definitely. The salt and the food that you just took, sugar in the food that you just didn't took.
Because I notice if I burp after that, you know, I'm good.
So the medical diagnosis here is for,
Let's take a walk. You know, I
Don't
feel
show
a
us,
little
please.
it's not bad manners, it's good food kind of thing.
better.
Let's see. Oh, some important things on here I wanted to say. Never judge your blood pressure by how you feel or your best guess. I can't tell you how many people will come in. I have a little sign on the office door that says free blood pressure checks. So people will come in and they'll be like, I feel fine. I don't have anything, but that's why we kind of call it the silent killer blood pressure, because you don't usually feel bad until it's really bad, and then it's late. I mean, it's late in the game. If you can start, you know, if you have loved ones and they're younger, 20s, you know, even teens nowadays, we have some issues with getting physical activity and getting up from the video games. But starting earlier can help them live a longer, and you know, we talk about quality versus quantity. If, you know, you got to kind of have both hand in hand. If you don't have quality life, it kind of makes the quality the quality of life, it kind of makes the quantity null, if you will, because you can't really do anything if you don't have quality, and that's what physical activity, diet, blood pressure, all that stuff will help with.
Sure. It's on my diet.
What'd you say? Sugar? Oh, cake. It's cake time. What else?
You notice we don't eat healthy at our meals.
Oh, yes. It's a problem for 1 out of 3 American adults, so you're not alone as well if you have high blood pressure.
Doesn't meds affect all the meds we take affect our blood pressure too?
The question was, do all the meds we take affect our blood pressure? So, of course, some of them, I'm sure, obviously will. I'm sure you probably do have some that are blood pressure medicines. All the medicine, I wouldn't say all of them by any
Our
means.
immunosuppressants.
Immunosuppressants? Not really. not really. That's going to affect your immune system, for sure. Yeah, I don't really, in my history, in my practice, I don't really see it affecting blood pressure all that much. It's a lot of other things. You know, if you've even drank enough water today, or if if you had coffee, lots of coffee, that makes you kind of dehydrated as well. So it's important to take action, know your numbers, know what they mean. So hopefully that helps a little bit earlier when I went over the top and the bottom numbers. And then track your progress. It's important to know, when you go see the doctor, what was your blood pressure? Typically we consider high blood pressure over 140. Everybody's a little different depending on their kidneys, and I know that sounds kind of funny. Why would you worry about kidneys for high blood pressure? But you do with the medications and everything, because you want them to continue to work too, at the best they can. But typically 140 over 90, that's the area we want to really kind of do some life changes to bring down that blood pressure. Getting active, very important. People who exercise have better health than those who do not. I mean, that was kind of goes without saying. So take action, make your decision to get moving. All it takes is one foot in front of the other. As simple as that. And I know you're like, yeah, whatever. I've tried that one foot in front of the other, and it's pretty hard sometimes. What'd you say?
I drift.
You tripped. Oh, always a comedian. So choose activities you enjoy. It'll make it easier. Walking. If you like walking, get a friend. Walk with a friend. If you like reading, get audiobooks. You're like, I'll sit and read. No. Get audiobooks and listen to those while you're walking. Music, if you like music. Parks, walk in parks, or anything you enjoy. Just try to adapt getting physically active with stuff you enjoy to do.
Golf.
It'll make it easier. Golf. But there's always a thing with golf. They have these little four-wheeled golf carts, and a lot of people use those.
But if you keep the cart on the path and you have to walk to your ball.
Perfect.
Especially if you're always in the rough.
Absolutely right.
Or swim.
Did you hear? Or swim, he says.
I haven't had to swim in a long time.
Okay, cholesterol. So, how many people know what cholesterol is? Yeah. So, cholesterol affects 3 of every 5 people. Oh, I forgot to tell you. This amazes me too. Less than 2 out of 10 people in America get enough physical activity. And I didn't even tell you how much physical activity is enough. 30 minutes, 5 times a day of moderate.
No.
We just had new hearts put in.
30 minutes.
You're not reading the thing. We got time to wait. Yeah, this is different.
Well, I was just checking to see if you guys were paying attention.
You're talking 2.5 hours a day, all right?
Yeah.
Read it.
Hey, I spend
30
4 hours
minutes,
on the
5
golf
times
course.
a week.
I spend 4 hours on the golf course.
Yeah.
Like, no cake for you. I know.
Good.
Actually, if there's nobody in front of me, I can play around for 2 hours.
30 minutes, 5 times a week. Yes. What I was thinking ahead. So if you think 30 minutes every day, I'm going to do this every day, inevitably, there's always something that comes up, and you can't do it one day. And so if you think, I'm going to do this every day, and if there's a time that works, great, but 30 minutes every day, and you'll hit those 5. But if you only plan for 5, and something's going to come up, it always comes up, that way you have at least 2 more days during the week that you'll hit your goal. And like I said, this stuff isn't, it says simple steps, but it's not easy. One thing at a time. If you can, work exercise in 2 days a week, great. If you can cut out the salt with that exercise, great. Let it go on for a couple months and then try something else with those 2.
But can you do 2.5 hours in one day?
You could do 2.5 hours in one day. I have with a good movie. If there's a good movie on and I'm on the treadmill, and then I just like fall over, but I'm just kidding. So cholesterol is kind of a fatty, waxy substance that's found in your blood, in your body, in your cells. Your body needs it. It's important. Your body makes its own cholesterol. The problem comes in when the foods we eat are high in fat, high in triglycerides, high in cholesterol as well, and that adds to our own body that's making the cholesterol and everything, and that can bring up our numbers and cause problems. The problems with cholesterol is it gets stuck in your arteries and your vessels, and it can cause clots, and then your blood doesn't flow smoothly through them. So if you think of a straw, and I wasn't able to bring my arteries, but if you think of a straw and the middle of the straw, the diameter, if it's filled with Crisco, say Crisco, and it's halfway filled, I mean, that's kind of how we judge. That's a 50% blockage, and that's what happens with the cholesterol in your arteries.
What about, excuse me,
Yes.
back in the day, I don't know if all you remember, but when we used to have our meetings at Barnes,
Yeah.
we were allowed to examine 3 hearts.
Oh.
And we were told that transplanted hearts have a propensity to form fat on the outside. Does that affect your cholesterol in any way?